Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. All right, you guys are probably wondering, where have you been? Or maybe you're not, and you could care less. I don't know. But I haven't posted a video in 4 days, which is the longest I think I've ever gone on YouTube. Well, I posted my vlog every day. But other than that, I haven't posted a video on my other 4 channels in the last 4 days. And it's kind of been the longest, it is the longest I've ever gone without posting videos, I believe. And what happened was, Friday, I just kind of wanted to take a day. In the last year, I've really learned that sometimes it's important for me just to take a day to myself, you know? And then that kind of bled into Saturday. And then Sunday, I started not feeling really great, but I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And then on late Sunday night, I got horrific tooth pain up through here. I've talked a lot about it on my vlog. Thank you guys that have given me all the well wishes. I really appreciate it. Today, right now, it's okay. It kind of comes and goes at a moment's notice. It's like 1 second I'm sitting here and I'm completely fine. And the next second I'm just like in excruciating pain. So tomorrow I have a dentist appointment. My dentist has me on an antibiotic. I'm also taking a leave. So fingers crossed that will get me through till tomorrow. It usually seems to happen like early evening. So right now it's 6:16. So I'm kind of surprised that my tooth isn't hurting right now. But I'm going to try to get through to make some videos because I've missed making videos. And I just was like, okay, it's time. You got to get back to making videos. But thank you to all of those of you out there that have sent me the sweetest messages and the most positive messages. I really appreciate it. Okay. First question, how do you feel about the comment Trisha made saying once an addict, always an addict? Well, I made a whole video about that, so you can go check that out. It's probably one of the last 2 videos I made before this. I think it's called Trisha Paytas versus the Rewired Soul. Okay, what do you think of the new year so far? Interesting question. I was just talking about this on my vlog last night. 2019 has been, I would say so far, anticlimactic. You know, it's just been kind of like, You know, there's just like been nothing that's going on. I have lots of things exciting that are planned for 2019. But I just like, it hasn't really gotten started yet. I love the snow, like the day that we're getting the snow, but the days after, like the gray, slush, and all that stuff, I just don't love it. And, you know, it's hard to get motivated when you wake up and it's just gray outside. If you live in the Midwest or you live somewhere where you're suffering from this weather right now, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's real exciting when you think you're gonna get snowed in, but then when you realize that it's, you know, just like any other day, except now you have to deal with all this crap snow and slush and ice. It's just not real fun. So that's kind of how I felt about 2019 so far. It just hasn't really been a whole lot of anything. You know what I mean? Okay. Who's your least favorite YouTuber? Well, this is an interesting question to me because one of my biggest misunderstandings about YouTube is hate watching. Like, I don't understand why people watch YouTubers that they don't like. Like, I really don't understand that. You know, I was sitting talking to my husband last night. I was like, I just don't feel like, even though I've taken like 4 days from making videos and doing a whole lot, like I've watched a lot of Netflix, I've been listening to a lot of Audible, I've been reading a lot. I still don't feel like I have a lot of time to get things done that I want to get done, you know? And that being said, why would I spend that time watching somebody I don't like? Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. So I don't really hate watch people. If there are YouTubers that I don't like, I just kind of like, okay, next, you know? You know, as a drama channel, I think there are people that I comment on, but I also think that if I really don't like somebody, that comes out a lot in my commentary, and then it's not a very fair commentary. So I kind of try to stay away from that. There are a lot of YouTubers that I think have put some things out there. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that ask me, will you cover this drama or will you cover that drama? There's a lot of things I'll just stay away from that I won't cover, you know? But I will say this, because somebody asked me who my least favorite YouTuber is. I'll tell you who my favorite YouTuber is. And my favorite YouTuber, which I think this might surprise people, but I've talked a lot about this on my vlog, is a channel called Nick and Poncho. And I think this guy's Italian, and his name is Nick, and he has a little chihuahua, and you all know that I have Pee-Pee the flying chihuahua, who's sitting right next to me, and his chihuahua's name is Poncho. He calls him Ponchino, and I just love these two together so much. He makes like 2 to 3 minute videos. They're so sweet, they're so endearing, and they're so inspiring too, you know? And like, I'll show them to Alex, and I'll be like, isn't this so sweet? And, you know, and we sit there in bed and we watch this video. It's just, you know, I am trying in 2019, I'm not one of these people that says like, oh, I'm going to be a changed person and then I don't focus on that. Like, I have spent the last 6 months, okay, really focusing on trying to work on myself and doing tons of inventory, working with my sponsor, working with my support network, trying to really become a better version of myself, because that's what I really want to be and do. In 2019, I'm really trying to focus on the light and the positive. You know, I've tried to leave a lot of this negativity in 2018 in my personal life and everywhere else. And so like, you know, I'm trying to focus on things that will bring that to me, and you know, also be inspiring to other people to say, hey, let's focus on the positive. Let's focus on this. You know, there's enough negative out there in the world, but I don't know that I necessarily have to always play into that. So, you know, and I'm not a perfect person. Like, you know, I fall short of that a lot, but to constantly remind myself of that and to watch a 2-minute video about a little dog is adorable, you know, and that brings me to the lighter side and makes me happy. Okay, let's see. Innie or Audi belly button? I don't, for me, like, I don't know that I really have, like, is that, like, what I would prefer? Like, I don't know. I'm an Innie, so I don't know that I really, that's kind of a funny question. I love you. Your strength through the last year is inspiring. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, I've been sober for 4 years. What's been the most difficult thing you have had to deal with staying sober? The most difficult thing I have had to stay sober with long term, okay, as a person with longer term sobriety, I would say is my friends that have gone back out there and started using again after having double-digit years of sobriety. You know, it very much at times feels, you know, your support network, you feel like you're going down in a sinking ship and you guys all have this common story together, right? It's very similar to that. Those friends of mine that have gone back out there, I don't have the same relationship with them I had anymore, you know? We don't sit around and tell the same stories and tell the jokes and all that kind of stuff. And if you've watched my vlog, you know that in the last few years, like, my support network has gotten very small. It's on some level very much me and just my friend Tanya. And I mean, we've gotten new friends and things like that. And I've gotten a new sponsor a lot in the last year and a half. And, but, you know, at the same time, you miss those people, and it's really, really hard. It becomes disheartening at times. I think it makes you question your own sobriety and your own recovery. Well, if they're able to go out there and be able to be somewhat successful, does that mean maybe I'm not an addict or an alcoholic? But I'm just not willing to chance that and throw that away. But that's a really good question. In early sobriety, and I've done a lot of videos about this, I think that, you know, in early sobriety, well, at 4 years, I'll address 4 years. In early sobriety, I think it was just putting one foot in front of the other and just staying sober, you know, clean and sober one day to the next. At 4 years sober, I think the really difficult thing was that my real life that I had gotten as a result of being sober, like my career and friends and the boyfriend and things like that, started like interrupting my sobriety world. And so I didn't know how to balance those out. And that was where it was really important for me to have a sponsor and a support network to kind of guide me through that. Okay. What's your most favorite song by Stevie Nicks? Okay, my most favorite song by Stevie Nicks, anybody want to guess? Okay, it's Nightbird. It's my all-time favorite Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac song of life. What's your favorite tea? My favorite tea, gosh, I don't even know. Oh, I do know. It's the nuts one from David's Tea. I absolutely love that tea. It's fantastic. A lot of nuts or something. I mean, I like nuts, but okay. Let's see. Are you planning on writing another book? Yes, I'm currently working on 2, but I'm very slow on it. One is a memoir. It's short stories about my childhood growing up, and the other one is a fictional book. What is the most memorable moment with Tanya? Funniest, scariest? Okay, well, let's see. So the most memorable moment with Tanya, shoot. Oh, I think calling her and telling her that my mom had passed away, you know, like, for every big, huge thing that's ever happened in my life, Tanya's always been there. And, for every huge thing that's happened in my life, Tanya's been out of town. That's what I want to say. And so she went out of town and we kind of knew something was going to happen. But we hadn't decided, the days and all this kind of stuff yet. And so Tanya went out of town. She said, do you need me here? I don't have to go on this trip. And I was like, no, you need to go. You never get to take a vacation. Now she travels all the time, but she's like, she could care less about my tragedies. But anyway, back then she didn't travel a whole lot. She owns her own business, and so she wasn't able to. And I remember calling her, and she was like, do you want me to come home? And I was like, no, I just needed to hear your voice. Sometimes you just need to hear somebody's voice, I think. So that was probably the most memorable. The funniest moment with Tanya, we played headbands outside. This is when we truly realized we had lost a lot of our friends, okay, because they had gone back out. And when I say gone back out, I meant they started using again, and they just weren't calling us anymore. So one night, Tanya was like, I'm so tired of this. We used to play games all the time. Now we don't play games because it's just the two of us. And I said, well, girl, go in there and get whatever game you want to get. So she went inside, and she got that game Headbands, where you put, like, the thing on there, and then you have the card, and you... And she and I sat out, we just got laughing so hard because we felt like such losers. We were like, we don't have anybody to even play games with anymore. She asked her husband, and she didn't want to. The scariest moment that ever happened with Tanya and I, and we've told this on my vlog, there's like fluff flying around. The scariest thing that ever happened was Tanya and I were driving down the street one night. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning on like a Tuesday, and this like slender man was literally standing on the side of the road. I mean, no lie, and there's a fence right next to, there's nowhere for him to go. He was standing on the sidewalk. He was like 6'3", 6'5", and he just was sitting there with like one of those stranger's masks on, and his face was like this. And Tanya, we got up like literally half a block, and she goes, turn around. And we turned around, and he was nowhere to be seen. To this day, it scares the hell out of us. That's a good question. Okay. Okay, can we have 24 hours of glamorous frogs up on the Twitter? So let me tell you about this, okay? So I have recently been getting on the Twitter, and here's the thing, y'all. I love social media. I adore social media. I love Goodreads. I love Instagram. Those are my two favorites right now. But when I see Facebook and Twitter, and I was talking about this on my vlog the other night, there's just a lot of negativity there. And so the other night I said, because of all of this ugliness that's on social media, I'm going to post, and I don't know what I did the first 24 hours, but the second 24 hours I did 24 hours of infinite beauty, and I did like all of like my favorite like actresses and singers, and then the second day I did meerkats, the other day I did unicorns, and so I've just been doing these like 24-hour sprints on Twitter of just like positive pictures, because I don't think there's enough of it. Needless to say, they don't get a lot of retweets. People don't really care about that. I mean, here's the thing, is like all the drama and negativity really is more interesting to look at. I mean, I'm not stupid, I know that, right? But at the same time, it's like sometimes I just don't want all of that energy, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Somebody said, I love you too. Have you ever had sex with a girl? No, I am a golden star. I'm sure it's hard to believe, but I've never had sex with a girl. I did have a girlfriend in high school though, and for quite some time. I think I've talked about that in my videos. And she is an out lesbian now. She's been with her partner for over 30 years. But you know what's interesting about this? I was talking to a friend earlier today, and I was telling her about the Kinsey, scale and the Kinsey test and stuff. And she took the test while we were talking on the phone, and I said, I might do this for a video to see if the Kinsey test tells me that I'm gay or not. So if you think that would be a good video, put it in the comment section below. Okay. Meet and greet in Indy? Yeah, sure, probably. Let's see. How should I let a friend know her house smells like day-old stew? Girl, listen, okay? They're referring to this Amberlynn Reed video that I made back in the day. You gotta get the getting while the getting's good, girl. See? Okay, now listen. Now, if your friend's house smells like day-old stew, you don't walk in there and act like you don't smell the cat litter and the stew on the stove, okay? You sit there and you go, girl, your house stinks, okay? You need to fix it. You need to get you some Febreze. It stinks up in this house, okay? Friends appreciate honesty. That's why when you got boogers up in your nose, you tell your friend, you got boogers up in your nose, because you don't want anybody. If your friend has bad breath, you say, girl, get some gum, okay? Getting while the getting's good. It's time. You gotta be honest with your friends. Right, Pee-Pee? Pee-Pee said, do I have boogers in my nose? Well, if you do, honey, you just licked it off. All right, let's get into the next question. Okay, are you and Rich Lux still friends? Love you, Peter. Yes, Rich Lux and I are very good friends. I just talked to him on the phone for a long time last night. I love talking to Rick. I love talking to Rick Lux, his twin brother. No, I love talking to Rich. I mean, we don't talk really about the drama or any of that kind of stuff. We just kind of talk about our lives, and it's fun, we just crack each other up. I appreciate his humor and his sincerity. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Old. the older man on YouTube. I'm losing my voice, you see. I will be in 5 years, 51 years old. I cannot believe it. But I did just get a new car, and I was thinking about this because I really wanted a Jeep Wrangler. But I opted for a Jeep Grand Cherokee because when I got in it, I was like, okay, this is really nice inside. And as much as I like the Wrangler, I was like, I think at 46, I like comfort a little bit more. And the really nice Grand Wrangler is like $10,000 more. And I was like, I'm not doing all that. So I don't know, but I was like, now at 51, do you think that I'll want to drive a Wrangler? Hell yes, I'm gonna drive a Wrangler. It's gonna be my next car. My plan is to have 2 cars, okay? A fun car and then a real car. So that we'll see if that ever happens. Probably not. Okay, do you ever have any regrets about starting YouTube? If so, what are they? No, I don't have any regrets about starting YouTube. You know, I was blessed enough to have like kind of a last conversation with my mom. I've talked a lot about it on my Peterisms channel. And one of the things I asked her were about her regrets. And she said, you know, when you get to the end of your life, it's not really the things you did that you regret. It's the things you never tried. It's the things you never did that you regret looking back on your life. And I would say that's true. When I look back on my 46 years, you know, or I don't know, 40 years of understanding, it's the risks and the opportunities that were open to me that I never took that I think that I regret the most. It's not the things that have happened in my past. I look at, like, if I have regrets, which I'm not gonna lie, I have regrets about how I handled situations or things that happened. I do, I have lots of them. But when I look back on those, I try to learn from them and have them be learning experiences in my life to be a better person, to be, you know, I mean, if not, then why did they happen in the first place, you know? Just, I mean, to be out there for no reason whatsoever. So, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to kind of get through these because there's a lot of, are you ever going to write a nonfiction book? Yes, I'm working on childhood stories right now. Okay, somebody asked, have you ever reviewed different K-cups? No, but I'm thinking about doing that. What do you think of Jon Hills' girlfriend's new YouTube video? Okay, so this is interesting. I got asked this question quite a bit. She seems very sweet to me. You know, the video was, I think, and I talked to a couple friends about this. The video, I watched the whole video. It seemed like a new beauty influencer, you know, not beauty, a new person doing a beauty video. It seemed very endearing. It seemed very sweet. But you know, like, it's hard to watch. Like, if I didn't know who she was and I watched that video and somebody asked me, I'd say she's very pretty. You know, she's very sweet. Like, it seems like a sweet little video, you know? But knowing who she is, I think it's hard to not want to check her motives, which, whatever. Like, I mean, she has every right to start a channel just like anybody else. Do I think it's weird? Yeah, I think it's weird. I made a whole video about how I thought it was weird, you know? But it's whatever. Like, I mean, I wish her the best of luck. I just think, I don't know. It was different than I thought. You know, like, on Twitter, she was a lot of, you know, but like, on the video, she was very sweet and very endearing. My advice to her would be, take the fight out of you and do your YouTube thing and respond to people sweet and nice on social media, because that's a much more likable Ashlyn, honestly. You know, I'm always interested when I see somebody act one way on social media and a completely different way on YouTube. Like, that's always very interesting to me, you know? Okay, what is your all-time favorite book? My all-time favorite book of life is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Okay. Can you be your real life Judy and go to the Chinese buffet with you? Yes, and I'm actually doing that video in February, I think. There's been a long time watcher of my videos. She lives close to here, Arlena. Hey, Arlena, how are you? And she has just been so supportive and so endearing through the years that I've been on YouTube. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, would you like to do a video with me, like a collab? She has a channel as well. And I said, and I'll pick you up and we'll go to the casino and we'll go to the Chinese buffet and I'll get you a fan and all this kind of stuff. It'll just be fun. You can see like what a day in my life is like. She's like, oh my God. So we're gonna do that. I'm really, really excited about it. But I wanna give her like the full experience of like Tanya and going to Walmart and the Meijer and everything. So I gotta plan it on a day that she and I both can do that. Okay, favorite vacation spot. I would say my favorite vacation spot ever that I've ever been to in my entire life was St. Bart's. But Miami with my husband, which we're going to in the end of March for Ultra Music Festival. I'm so excited. Okay, and I've been watching the Fire documentary on Netflix. I know there's another one on Hulu, but it's making me even more excited to go to Ultra because that was some messed up stuff. Okay. how did you get started making drama videos? Well, I had a booktube channel and I had other channels, videos I had posted years ago. And then I just, one night, fell down the rabbit hole. It was a Jeffree Star and Kat Von D when all that stuff was going on. And I literally just got on video. I fought for so long. Okay, so the joke about me saying I'm not a drama channel, I'm a candle review company. If you guys remember that, I haven't said it in a long time. But the joke about that is because I forever said I wasn't a drama channel. I'm like, I'm not a drama channel. Like, it's always interesting to me when people are like, I'm not a drama channel. Just own it, okay? It's just not that deep. Now people are dying to be drama channels, you know, but back then I was like, I am not a drama channel. And that's just how it started for me. I just watched these videos and made commentary on it, you know? It's fun. Okay, which season do you prefer? Summer. I used to prefer winter and fall, but I have to say the older I get, my mother told me this and she was right. I prefer summer. I mean, hands down, I'm a summer person. Okay, what's the next channel you want to create? Well, I'm really sad to tell you guys, I probably won't be starting another channel. Can you imagine 6 channels? But I never rule it out. You know, if I started another channel, I would either start a psychic predictions channel, or I would start a channel with my husband that would just be little videos of us. We have started a couples Instagram. You can go check it out over there. It's at Peter and Alex, and we've been having a lot of fun with it. Okay, let's see. Are you really the psychic of the world? I don't know. How's life? Life is good. Are you coming to Mexico this year? Yes, we're coming to Mexico. We're going to Miami, and then we're going to Mexico, and I'm really, really excited about it. Any plans for a meet and greet during your LA trip? So I'm going to LA, and somebody asked on here, I think it's on the very next thing. Hold on a second. Somebody asked about, what are you doing in LA? So I'm going to LA in a few weeks, and okay, here's the thing. My husband and I really wanted to take a trip somewhere, because we aren't going anywhere until March, and we've been like just dying to get out of town for just like a long weekend. So I was like, you know, why don't we go to LA? Alex has some friends. His best friend just moved here from LA. He has some friends that live out there. I have some friends that live in LA. And I was like, you know what, let's just go out there for a long weekend and go to LA, and I'll just reach out to some people and see if maybe I can meet some of my faves. And, you know, so that's really what it's about. I have thought about maybe doing a meet and greet out there, meet and greet? There's Peter Brady. Whether it was like, you know, 2 or 3 people or whatever. I think one day I might just say, hey, I'm going here. If you want to meet up and see what I look like in person, come say hi. You know, I mean, it's just not that deep. It just really isn't. Okay, how long have you been a vegetarian? I have been a vegetarian. It was a year in August, so it's almost coming up on 18 months, I think, of being a vegetarian. Okay. Do you enjoy watching makeup reviews or other informative channels on YouTube? I do. Anything that I ever want to learn, like how to tie a bow tie or anything, I go right to YouTube to learn. And there's actually a lot of channels out there that I think would surprise people that I watch. I really like this guy. I can't remember his name. It's the fragrance guy. I watch him for cologne. There's this guy, I think his name is like Alpha Male or something, and he does a lot of videos about, like, his older videos more are about like how to tie bow ties and stuff like that. I do watch makeup review videos. I watch a lot of makeup review videos on like skincare products because that's kind of what I'm really into. If I watch makeup reviews, it's typically by the bigger beauty influencers to just kind of see what they say and what their take is on that. I do not like the 30-minute makeup reviews. Like, it's just like I don't care that much. So I leave that to the people that love that stuff. Okay, does Alex pick out your clothing? No, never. We both pick out our own clothing. Okay, favorite fast food place? My favorite fast food place is White Castle, and I love the Impossible Sliders from White Castle. Best advice you've received since January 1st. Best advice I've received since January 1st. What a good question. Oh, it's going to stop. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. I did fix my hair a little bit, though. Okay, you know, the best advice I've gotten since 2019 started, I would say, is a very close friend of mine in sobriety. She told me, she said, you know, I think, like, she said that she was, like, in 2019 going forward, only focusing on the positive and the light and the spirit and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm very much about that going forward in 2019. I want to have the best life possible. Life is not a dress rehearsal. It just isn't. And I think when you've gone through some really tragic things in life, the rest of it just kind of seems superficial. I forget that at times, right? Like, I forget, like, this really doesn't matter. Like, I'm all caught up in this stuff and it really doesn't matter. So I try to tone it down a little bit and remind myself of what does matter. And what I mean by that is my husband, my dogs, my family, my friends, my sobriety, my health, you know? And all of those things are priorities to me over the rest. And I have to remind myself of that. And I sometimes get caught up in the exterior or the superficial. And, you know, I want to surround myself with positive, like-minded people in 2019. And I just want to have a blast. I want to have the best life of my life, you know, best year of my life. I think we often say, you know, like, you know, live your life as if this is the last year you're going to live. But what if it really was? I mean, many of us, this might be, and we will never know. So, you know, I don't want to be sitting on my deathbed, looking back on my life and having a lot of regrets about the things I didn't do. Like, you know, sadly enough, when I said that about my mom, she had a lot of regrets about things she didn't do in her life. But I want to look at my life and say, yeah, I lived one hell of a life. And I have. Like, I've lived one hell of a life, you know. I've had an incredible life, and I feel very blessed for every moment of it. So just focusing, I think, on, like, the positive and the spirit. And that's a choice. You know, every day that we get up, that's a choice that we have. Like, do we want to be on this side or do we want to be on that side? Do we want to be consumed with anger or do we want to be consumed with happiness? Like today, like, I want peace of mind. Peace of mind is a choice, and today I choose peace of mind. Okay, let's see. What's your favorite meal? Macaroni and cheese. Okay. These are still the questions. I want to get to the opinions. What is your Goodreads reading goal for 2019? 100 books, and I'm almost 4 in. I'm currently reading The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, which is about Ted Bundy. It's for Peter's book club, because I have a book club. I wear so many hats. But anyway, it is really fantastic. Like, I just passed the halfway mark and I'm like obsessed with it. It is so good. Okay, I didn't love it at first, but now I do. Okay. Oh, somebody said, I always miss your live streams. Where do you announce them? I haven't been doing live streams a lot in January. And the reason for that is that when Alex gets home, I've been trying to spend a lot of time with him in the evening. But going forward, starting probably tomorrow, unless my dental work is severe, I'm going to be doing live streams every day for the rest of January. Well, that's my hope. My hope. My plan is to do live streams every day, probably in the evening between 8 and 10 Eastern Standard Time sometime. On YouNow, it's listed below. Okay. How do you feel about the drama between T-Spill and Manny? Okay, so this is another question that I got a lot of questions about. So what they're referencing is the fact that Manny copyright striked a video that T-Spill did, and he was just part of the video, I believe. So if I understand, PB's making so many noises over here. If I understand correctly, the whole question is whether or not Manny was able to copyright strike it because she had used video footage that was of fair use. I don't think he should have copyright strike the video. And the thing is that, well, for me, just let me say it's 2 issues, okay? I don't really understand why we can't just reach out to people and try to work things out. And I do know that T-Spill, because I saw on Twitter, had reached out to him, okay? I don't understand why that's not a conversation that 2 grown adults can't have, like, hey, I have an issue with this video, or I feel like you're making a lot of videos about me. And I have said on here before that I have said in videos, if people have an issue with me making one after another video about them, please reach out to me and I will stop making videos about you. And, you know, Shannon Rose is one of the people, she's the only person that reached out to me and said that, and I haven't made a Shannon Rose video since, and I would consider Shannon Rose a friend of mine, and I just talked to her recently, you know? So, I don't understand why we can't just work things out as adults. Like, I really don't understand it. So, you know, that being said, I think it's crap. I don't think that he should have copyright striked the video. I think, and he did end up taking it down, okay, after several days, thankfully. I think the other issue, though, you know, is that his drama channels or his commentary channels, you know, I think sometimes people, you know, there's this like misconception, like, is it somebody's job or isn't their job or whatever? Well, when you're making $5, 10, 20, 50, 70, $100,000 making commentary videos about somebody, and if you think some of these drama channels aren't, you're wrong, then it is their job. I mean, that has become their job, right? So for them not to make videos about things that are somewhat relevant, like, they can't do that, right? Like, they can't not make videos about that. But when I think you are that person and you're having video after video or a video made about you, I think it would be really hard. But, you know, that being said, I think it's 2 sides of the coin. You know, I think there's 2 different sides to the question. You know, is the question about, I don't don't know. Like, the whole thing just makes me sad. Manny should never have striked the video, okay? He just should never have striked the video. He should have reached out to T-Spill, and he should have said, hey, listen, girl, okay? This is how I feel about it. I'm all up in my emotions, whatever. At that point, what she chose to do with it was on her, or he could have said, hey, listen, if you don't, I'm going to copyright strike it, or who knows? I don't know. It just, and the thing is, that Manny didn't get is it turned into this huge thing that it never had to turn into had he actually reached out to her to begin with and say, like, I have an issue with this. And, you know, I do think there's a lot of criticism, I think, about drama channels talking to influencers and vice versa. But, like, for me, if I ever am thinking about, like, I want to make this video, but I don't know that this is, like, I'm really going to hurt somebody by doing it, like, and there's not a lot of videos that I say that get to that point, but when I do, like, I typically reach out to that person and say, like, do you have an issue with me making this video? Like, I did it with Jaclyn Hill, and there's been others that I've done that with. Just out of fairness, out of kindness. I'm not saying that that's a quality that everybody has to have. I'm not saying that every drama channel has to do that. I think every drama channel has a right to have their opinion and post whatever content they want to post out there. I just think the whole thing got really to a point that it didn't need to get, and it makes me very, very sad. I just wish they could have talked, you know, and knowing that she reached out to him, I don't understand why that didn't happen. So, all right, let's see. Death penalty. Well, my opinion about the death penalty, no. You know, what's interesting about the death penalty is that my opinion has changed a lot since I've been reading true crime novels. And when I saw this come up on my Instagram, I really thought about, this was like one that I really, really thought about. You know, what I thought about was that I really think that it's up to the family of the victims. I really think the family of the victims should be considered highly in the decision on the death penalty and what choice is made. And there's a lot of family members that have come out in certain cases that have said we don't want the death penalty in this situation, you know? So I think that the family's questioning and consideration should be really, you know, or the family's consideration should really be taken into question when talking about the death penalty. All right. The new Woman in the movie Window is coming out later this year. I did not know this, and when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. What type of Louis Vuitton men's items are you interested in? Wallet, messenger bag, etc. Well, I love Louis Vuitton anything. But I will tell you this, in the new collection, the new Louis Vuitton collection, everybody's going crazy over these neon bags. Listen, I had enough neon in the 80s, okay? I don't need no more Louis Vuitton neon. No, I didn't have Louis Vuitton neon, but I don't need any more neon, okay? But there is a quilted gray, like, fabric backpack that is gorgeous, and it would look so good with my hair. So I'm sure it's way out of my price range. Okay. Your thoughts on your predictions of 2019 so far? Well, they're coming true. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, right? My roommate Charles wants to ask you to review more skincare and beard care, please. I can do that. Yeah, absolutely, I can do that. I get some sexual questions. Oh my God, I'm blushing. Somebody asked me what I thought about cock rings. No, I mean, my opinion, what about them? I think they're ugly. Okay, I don't think they're hot. Let's see. What is your opinion about polyamory? Do your thing. Girl, do your thing, okay? It ain't for me, but do your thing, okay? Have as many as you want. I don't really care. I don't understand how it works, okay? Now, I remember years ago on the Real Sex on HBO. Do you guys remember that Real Sex TV show? Oh my God, I used to watch that back in the day. And then it would always be followed by Taxi Cab Confessions. I always thought I was such a badass when I would watch those shows. But they had polyamorous couples. And then I remember, like, on MTV, they did, like, My True Life, My Polyamorous Relationship. And I just remember watching it with, like, this look in my face, like, I don't understand, okay? Like, I just couldn't. That's not for me. But hey, if that's you, I think more loving, okay? That's all I got to think. Favorite restaurant you've ever visited in Kentucky? That's a hard question. Oh, I'll tell you what. Okay. What's it called? It's the restaurant that is, I think it's called Prime, maybe. It is connected to the 21C Hotel, and it is the coolest restaurant in the entire world. Look it up online. The booths are, it's like, has all this installation art in it, and the booths, each one are like Louis Vuitton, Gucci. It's very, very cool. And the food is unbelievable too. Okay, Manny Mua striking videos he just doesn't like. I mean, you know, here it goes again. It's like, Manny, like, what did you really think you were going to achieve out of this? I don't know. Like, it's just, Okay, if you could live in a different state, which one would you choose? Florida, hands down. The comeback of brunch style clothes among the youth, I love it. I live for it, okay? That was like one of my favorite eras of life. Just the long flannel shirts with the rips in them, and the black t-shirts and the concert tees and the black, you know, the black jeans. That's when skinny jeans really came around back in the day. Okay, here's a funny one. Toilet paper over or under? And I don't think, Vicky, that this is a funny one, because this is one that my husband and I actually, you talk about marital problems, this is one that my husband and I actually get into arguments about, okay? So I am definitely an over, and he is definitely an under kind of person. And so when I'm in the bathroom, I change it. And what's happened now, okay, is that the roll just sits next to the toilet bowl. The toilet bowl, it just sits next to the toilet. Okay, let's see. God, everybody's asking about these copyright claims. Do you know what's so interesting about this is, I don't believe I've ever copyright striked a video ever on YouTube. Let me just tell you my feelings about it, okay? Now, I have striked a video once for like bullying or harassment, but that was a long time ago, and I'm sure everybody knows where that one is, or what that was about. But here's the thing, okay? Like, people reach out to me and they'll say, oh, so-and-so stole a clip of your video. Like, this happened to me, I would say, 2 months ago. And I reached out to the person that had done it because they were, like, very defensive. And I was like, take my clips. I really don't care, okay? Like, do your thing. It's just not that big of a deal. And I think in 2019, this is why the whole strike thing to me, I just was like, are you sending a message, or what's the message you're trying to send here? Because this isn't just about copyright striking a video, because there's so many people that do it, right? Like, so you're trying to send a message. Well, wouldn't it be better to come out and say your message, like, if that's what you're trying to do? I don't know, like, for me, it's just always like, use my clips. I don't really care, you know what I mean? Like, I've had people upload whole videos of mine before and put it underneath somebody's name, like, you know, Judy Sue Johnson or something, you know, like, and I guess somebody's going to Judy Sue Johnson's videos thinking I'm Judy Sue Johnson. I'm like, okay, hey, Judy, I hope you're making some coin off my video, you know what I mean? It just is not that deep to me. But if you're sending a message out that, like, hey, this is too much, like, I can't deal with all of this, then that's the issue, and that's what we should be talking about. That should be a video, or that should be a statement, or something like that. I don't know. But I think sometimes we, you know, I do too, react out of anger, and, you know, I'm trying not to be that person anymore, but do I understand that? Sure. I think it's a human response to things. I just think there are ways for two adults to have conversations and work things out. I don't understand why it has to be that deep, you know? Okay, why don't you answer my previous question? This is from Alex's Uncle Ed. Let's see. Netflix series You, will you watch it? Yes, I will. So this was a book that we read in Peter's Book Club. I have not yet watched it, but my husband did, and he thought it was absolutely fantastic. Okay, your opinion on your favorite conspiracy theories. Do you believe any of them? I believe everything. No, I do, seriously. Loch Ness Monster, believe in it. Aliens, absolutely, of course. Cats are aliens. I do believe that aliens are already here on the earth, okay? I mean, I truly, truly do. Abductions, believe in it. Political conspiracy theories like John F. K., assassination, stuff like that, believe in it. I listen to Coast AM. I'm obsessed with it. I love conspiracy books. I love Shane Dawson's conspiracy theories. I'm obsessed with anything conspiracy theory, and that's why we are doing a year of true crime. And it's hard because when you read this true crime stuff, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that come out about things, you know, and it's very, very interesting. And so yeah, it's hard because I'll tell you something. A friend of mine, I don't know when this was, probably, it's been a long time ago. He was the one that introduced me to Coast AM, which is this late night show from 1 to 5 a.m. They have it in everybody's town. You can go find it. They have it online, everything like that. And he was the one that told me to start watching it. And I'll never forget what he said to me when I started watching it, when I started listening to it. He was the one that told me to start listening to it. No, it's a radio show. He said, when you start listening to it, be careful because it's a slippery slope. And it is true. It is so true. If you start listening to it, there's a lot on there that I don't believe in, like shadow people and stuff, but hey, I don't know. But you know, like once you start listening to it, it is such a slippery slope. It's like, whoo, and then before you know it, you've fallen all the way down. So, okay, let's take one more question. And a lot of the same questions. Favorite audiobooks, I talked about that on BookTube. Let's see. What is your favorite dinner recipe? Carry out. Oh, Mel, my booktube co-founder president asked, what's your opinions on Charles Bukowski? Dark, very dark, but I love his writing. I think I've only ever read one book of his, and I don't even know what it is, but I've like read a lot of like interviews, not interviews, but like articles and stuff about him. Very, what's the word I'm like looking for? Bohemian author, Mel. That kind of surprises me that you read him. Okay, the silliest fight with Alex. The silliest fight I ever had with my husband was on Valentine's Day, actually. And I think that that will be a story time that we will tell, and I'll do maybe a Q&A around Valentine's Day or something with him, and we'll tell that story on there, because that's a really funny story. But anyway, thank you guys so much for letting me do this video. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm back, and tomorrow I will be doing drama videos on here. I love you, and I will see you then. Bye.